Gettable, brought to you by Ream.
Australia. Search Continental. This is Gettable.
And Cal Toomey with you. Two big pieces of news as we go to air right now. So Collingwood has signed Harry Perryman on a 6-year deal. The Giants have received Band 1 compensation for Harry Perryman. That slides in at pick 16. It means the Giants have picks 15 and 16 now. That comes after Hawthorn's 6-year deal for Josh Battle was confirmed. Band 1 compensation as well to the Saints, who lost Josh Battle, so they've got picks 7 and 8. A man at the centre of these deals is the Giants' Executive General Manager of Football, Jason McCartney, and he has been good enough to join us on Trade Radio. Jason, firstly, thanks for coming on. We might just get your reaction to the news that's just dropped and that you'll receive pick 16 for Harry Perryman.
Good afternoon, Riley. Good afternoon, Cal. Just obviously not long ago got off line with the AFL and Collingwood. So, look, it's, Harry's served us really well over a long period of time. Really great person, wonderful family, but he's gone a different direction. And obviously, it was a pleasing conversations once you know that decision's been made, that it's a Band 1 compensation selection. So, to have 2 first-round selections in what is looking like a pretty strong draft off the back of our 2 first-round selections in Phoenix Gothard and James Leake, who have yet to debut. It's a really strong situation for the club to be in moving forward.
Jace, do you expect the Isaac Cumming compensation to be delivered today as well?
Hopefully later this afternoon, yeah. I'm not sure what time the Crows will lodge in that. But, look, it's a bit harder to anticipate some of these now with some changes, but I suppose we would be thinking that would be around the band that comes after our second-round pick or late second round at worst. I think there's a few things. We don't obviously get to see these contracts because they're unrestricted free agents, not restricted. So we don't see the deals. And obviously the AFL's got some mechanisms in there around years and points associated to what the compo could be. So they've probably got a little bit to work through with that, how that contract is shaped and whether there's some clauses in there around triggers and things like that. So we'll just wait till this afternoon to hear on that one.
What's your overall feeling as a footy club about losing these 2 free agents? Obviously, it's been drawn out, their decisions, and you've known for some time that they're weighing things up. But to lose 2 at once, how's the overall feel at the Giants about that?
Oh, look, they're really good people, both Harry and Isaac. Outstanding young men, and obviously they've come through our academy. But in saying that, we as a footy club, the way we've been set up since day one, I think you guys are right across it. We have to manage our list very strategically. They've obviously received some unbelievable offers and opportunity, which we couldn't match. And we've had a number of players over the years that we've worked with, and they've moved on. They've chosen to, we've worked with, and that's the way we manage our list. And we still feel our list is in really good shape. We've got some really good depth. I mentioned those 2 draftees in James and Phoenix from last year, yet to debut. But you look at the emerging talent and the way Cadman's progressing, and Darcy Jones and Connor Stone is just sitting there waiting for an opportunity, and players like that. We feel like we're really well covered, like in the key defensive posts, Aleka. So there's enough depth and talent in our group that we feel like we've got some really good coverage, and obviously we'll add to that, like we've spoken about, with another 2 first-round draft selections.
Jason, talk us through the James Peatling trade request, which came through late Thursday afternoon. He's obviously wanting to get to Adelaide, and what do you expect in a deal with the Crows now for James Peatling, who's, of course, uncontracted but not a free agent, so a trade will have to be negotiated there?
Yeah, haven't had a chance yet to sit down with Adelaide, so we'll work through that over the coming days of what that could look like. But, that was one, obviously. It was an interesting situation for James because his back end of the year was really strong. Probably, I don't want to speak on behalf of James, but his decision-making potentially through the mid to early, that early into the back end of the year where he started to become a more regular player and playing some midfield minutes was more about opportunity and where that sat with us. So obviously by the end of the season, it was a really strong finish, and he had some better clarity around that. But he's obviously been presented once again with great opportunity and obviously a long-term contract. So like I said, we'll sit through and work through that with the Crows. But once again, we feel we've got great coverage from within our group and what we're going to add through draft. And if anything does eventuate through this trade period with any players coming via acquisition.
Will one of those be Jake Stringer?
Good question, Cal. Obviously, you and many people know I've had a long association through my previous role at the Bulldogs with drafting the team that drafted Jake a long time ago. So, no, it's been. Look, I'll be brutally honest. There's had been some preliminary chats a few weeks ago with his management, which, whether that progresses any further or not, it's, whilst you're always looking at any way you can improve your list. There's been a sharper focus in some other areas, what we're looking at the moment. But yeah, there was preliminary discussions.
Do you think there's a chance it goes further?
Unknown at this point in time, to be honest. There's still a few other things we're looking at as well. So yeah, it's all got to fit into the bigger piece of the puzzle. And like I said, the trade period actually doesn't even start until next Monday. So there's a bit to play out. But yeah, like I said, we're there's a level of disappointment with what's going on, but we're used to that and we manage that really well. And I think the other thing worth noting, it's like we talk about, we do have this sometimes every couple of years to manage. We've extended Sam Taylor and Brent Daniels and the likes already this year, along with Lockie Ash, and there's others in the pipeline. So you're factoring all this in as you go. And the one thing I can guarantee, there's never been a year gone by when we've had some players that have moved on that we haven't had a strong season the following year. So we're in really good shape. So no concerns at all.
Just on your ability to manipulate the draft order as well, and you've done this previously too. You've got pick 15, 16, 36. You get another pick inside the first 35 or so through the Isaac Cumming move as well. Do you anticipate a move up the draft order again like we maybe saw a couple of years ago in the Cadman chase?
Yeah, everything's open for discussion. That's something like we're obviously interviewing at the Combine at the moment. You gather, there's a lot of information being gathered all year and the final touches of that through this. And we've obviously got opportunities in the coming weeks to do that or right up until the draft. So I suppose it's one of those things. It's great to have that mechanism and the ability to use all the time, gather all the information, whether it's seen as a necessity to get up and target a player or the recruiting team and us as this management team are really comfortable with what we think would be there with the two picks. So that's all the decision making us and every club goes through.
You mentioned him before, Jace, but Connor Stone's another really interesting one in this year's trade period in the sense that he's had an offer on the table to stay at the Giants for some time now. We reported earlier this week that he's got interest from some Victorian clubs, including Essendon. Where do you see his future lying at the moment?
Yeah, we still feel it's confident for us that he'll stay, but it's unknown yet because he hasn't accepted the contract. And the other thing, this is one that's a classic example when, for us, the bulk of our list is interstate or regional talent. And the one thing is, Connor's had a really strong year this year, but didn't get just for the strength of our AFL team for the season. He didn't get the opportunities he may have liked. So there's always that I suppose opportunity that come home to Victoria and things like that, and you guarantee the opportunities. But obviously for him, he's probably seen a couple of players that are now departing that he could quite comfortably fill those roles. So hopefully that gives him really good comfort around that because he's a player we'd love to retain. We feel like 4 years, he's had a couple of years where it's been really interrupted with injury, but we're absolutely wrapped for his season this year just to be able to play regularly, whether it be the few games at AFL or the VFL, but just that continuity because he just hasn't had that. So although he's 4 years in with us, we feel like he's like a second-year player, really. So we're keen for him to continue on with us.
A couple of guys who are contracted at the football club for next year, but Xavier O'Halloran, who's obviously one of them, he's contracted for 2025. He's had some interest from the Western Bulldogs. Do you see him staying at the football club?
Yeah, we see him staying. Yep.
What about Wade Dirksen, another one contracted for 2025, but has some interest in moving to Melbourne during this year's trade period?
Yeah, same with Wade. We'll be looking to retain Wade, same as Xavier, both contracted players. So Xavier played 19 games for us this year, and once again, with the players that are departing, we see a pretty important role for him next year. And the reality is too, with players with contract, we're in the business of trying to win our club's first premiership. So We're really happy with the draft hand we've got, what we're looking at in the draft. We'd very much comfortably prefer to be having these two players or a contract playing at our club next year to help us chase that elusive premiership.
You mentioned the big dogs re-signing already ahead of next year in Sam Taylor and Brent Daniels. That leads us to look ahead. We love doing that on Gettable, Jace, as you know.
Yes.
And Finn Callaghan obviously being a priority re-signing for next year. He had been keen to get through this year before initiating any real discussions. Has that kicked off a little bit more in earnest over the past couple of weeks, or will it over the next few?
Absolutely, yeah. There's been a number of preliminary discussions with Tom Seckle, Finn's management. So, yeah, obviously we will be looking to, progress that strongly over this off season, early into next season. So, yeah, that's an obvious one for us. So we feel like we're in really good shape with a lot of our boys now that are. We haven't got a heap coming out next year. We've strategically had some longer term contracts, which gives you a little bit of flexibility. They're serving us well with other things we want to do. And yeah, the core, or more than the core of our group is